the beginning of the revolution, when everything changed. Imagine a country, one with no wealth, no resources, but hearts burning with passion. Where no weapons are raised, no protests take place, yet a revolution arises, through brooms, shovels, wheelbarrows, and an unwavering hope. This is the story of Burkina Faso, a nation often overlooked by the world, but where its people wrote their own destiny with their own hands. September 2023, the day everything changed. The president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, delivered a simple but powerful message. This country is ours. Its cleanliness, its dignity, is our responsibility. These words struck like lightning deep within the hearts of the people. It wasn't a government order, nor a political maneuver. It was a people's awakening for the people by the people. Part 2. The people who rose without command. Over 30,000 individuals. Farmers, traders, teachers, children, mothers, elders, soldiers, students, all stood up for one purpose, to clean and restore their country. There were no mandates, no military commands. Only passion, pride, and a desire to come together as a nation. From the smallest village to the capital, everyone with a broom in hand, chest out, and heads held high was on the front lines. The broom wasn't just sweeping dirt, it was sweeping away despair, not just odor but apathy. Part 3. A movement fueled by unity and action. This wasn't just about cleaning streets or picking up trash. It was a powerful statement about dignity, ownership, and collective unity. It was about showing the world that Burkina Faso would no longer wait for others to fix their problems. The power to change lay within them, within their hands, hearts, and determination. Every corner of the nation responded to this call. Farmers left their fields, traders stopped selling goods, teachers paused their lessons, children ran out from classrooms, and they all came together for one cause, to rebuild a sense of pride in their country. For 7 consecutive days, the sound of brooms sweeping, wheelbarrows being pushed, and the hum of collective effort replaced the usual noises of daily life. No one was too young, too old, or too busy to join. Part 4. Transforming hearts, minds, and health. The results were immediate, tangible, and remarkable. It wasn't just about how clean the streets became, it was about how much cleaner the people's hearts and minds became. As the streets transformed, so did the sense of ownership, pride, and responsibility that people felt for their environment. Public health experts saw dramatic improvements in sanitation-related diseases. Hospitals that had been long neglected saw a decrease in diarrhea, cholera, and other waterborne illnesses. Doctors celebrated the transformation of the medical environment, where cleanliness not only saved lives but also created a more effective working atmosphere for healthcare professionals. In rural villages, water sources, which had once been contaminated, were now being restored. This wasn't just about looking good. This was about reclaiming health, dignity, and a sense of future. Part 5. The heart of the revolution, unity across generations and genders. One of the most beautiful aspects of this movement was its unity. People from every walk of life, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, from farmers to soldiers, from women to men, all united with a common purpose, to clean their country and build a better future. It wasn't just a matter of physical cleanup, it was about creating a shared vision. Women, who have long been the backbone of their communities, took the lead. They organized cleanup efforts in markets, residential neighborhoods, and public spaces with remarkable strength and efficiency. Meanwhile, the youth embraced the revolution with excitement and energy. Students mobilized in schools, organized cleanup squads, and spread the message of unity through social media. It wasn't just a movement for the old or the adults. The youth were the driving force, turning this effort into a vibrant celebration of community spirit. Part 6. The soldiers who stepped out to serve. In a society often divided by social roles, even the military, whose role is typically seen as maintaining defense, stood alongside civilians in this revolutionary movement. Soldiers, typically seen as protectors with rifles in hand, now took up brooms and shovels. They worked side by side with the citizens of Burkina Faso. This was unprecedented. In this act of unity, the message was clear. There was no difference between the defense of the nation and the defense of its future. Together, they transformed their communities. It wasn't just about cleaning. It was about collaboration, cooperation, and solidarity. Soldiers weren't enforcing orders. They were joining in, giving back to the people they had vowed to protect. Their presence reinforced the idea that change is built through unity. Part 7. The spiritual call to action, a moral duty. Religion played a significant role in mobilizing the people of Burkina Faso. Religious leaders from various faiths, imams, pastors, and traditional leaders, came together to rally their communities. They didn't just view this as a physical or civic duty, they framed it as a moral and spiritual obligation. In mosques, churches, and community gatherings, religious leaders spoke of cleanliness as a reflection of faith, a sacred responsibility to care for the land, the people, and the environment. In the sermons, prayers, and speeches, these leaders emphasized that the act of cleaning was not only a civic duty but also a sacred act of service to God and the community. Their words reached deep into the hearts of the people, reminding them that every piece of trash collected was a step toward honoring their faith and respecting the world around them. Part 8. Education as a catalyst for change. The role of teachers was indispensable in this revolution. Across the nation, teachers didn't just stay in classrooms, they became champions of the cause. They inspired students to take ownership of their environment by incorporating the national cleanup effort into their lessons. In classrooms, students wrote essays about what it meant to be part of this transformation, how it felt to clean their neighborhoods, and why it was important for them to take pride in the places where they lived. The energy of youth blended perfectly with the wisdom of elders, creating a powerful force that turned a simple cleanup into a nationwide movement. The children's enthusiasm was contagious. Their writings and reflections sparked a chain reaction, with entire communities embracing the idea that change could begin with just one small act, and that act could ripple across the nation. Part 9. The collective power of the people, ownership of the nation. One of the most powerful messages that emerged from the sanitation revolution was that Burkina Faso was no longer waiting for outside help. The people realized that change starts with them, not with foreign aid, political interventions, or international programs. For years, the people of Burkina Faso had watched as global organizations and governments sent aid and solutions from the outside. But this was different. This movement was powered by the people themselves from the ground up. It wasn't about waiting for a savior. It wasn't about depending on someone else. It was about taking ownership of the future, believing in the strength of the people, and knowing that they could make a difference. The revolution became a powerful symbol of self-reliance, a realization that even a country facing economic hardship could transform itself through the sheer force of community unity, hard work, and a shared vision. Part 10. The Ripple Effect, a movement that crossed borders. As the sanitation revolution gained momentum in Burkina Faso, its impact began to ripple beyond the country's borders. Visitors from neighboring countries like Ghana, Mali, and Niger traveled to witness the transformation firsthand. What they saw was nothing short of miraculous. A country that had struggled with economic challenges and poor infrastructure was now united, clean, and empowered. People from every walk of life had come together to show the world that change could happen through simple, collective actions. International organizations, public health officials, and development experts took note of the movement's success. Some called it a blueprint for other African nations facing similar challenges with waste management, sanitation infrastructure, and public health. The revolution had not only transformed Burkina Faso, it had set an example that could inspire the world. Part 11. The Legacy, a Vision for the Future. As the Sanitation Week came to a close, the momentum of this movement didn't fade. President Ibrahim Traoré understood that this was not just a passing wave of enthusiasm, but something that had to become part of the national fabric. In an unprecedented move, he announced that the sanitation revolution would continue on a monthly basis. Every month, the people of Burkina Faso would unite for a national cleanup day, ensuring that the efforts of those 7 transformative days would be sustained and amplified. This wasn't just about a one-time event. It was about embedding the spirit of unity and responsibility into the very heart of the nation. It became a recurring reminder that true change doesn't happen overnight. It happens when people come together every month, every day, and every year to take care of their country, their environment, and each other. Part 12. Personal Stories of Transformation. As the weeks passed, the people of Burkina Faso began to see that the movement had become more than just a national initiative. It was personal. Families shared stories about how they had participated together in the cleanup efforts. Children talked about how they were proud to have played their part in making their communities better. Women especially felt a deep sense of pride. They sang songs, composed dances, and celebrated the collective effort. In markets, villages, and neighborhoods, these songs echoed the message of hope and unity. For many, it was the first time in years that they felt a real sense of ownership and pride in their country. This was no longer just about clean streets. It was about reclaiming their dignity and realizing that they could build a brighter future with their own hands. Part 13. The Power of Hands-on Leadership. At the heart of this movement was President Ibrahim Traoré's leadership. His role wasn't just to give speeches or offer promises, it was to lead by example. From the very start, President Traoré didn't stay behind in his office. He joined the people in the streets, working side by side with the farmers, students, and everyday citizens. He took up a broom, rolled up his sleeves, and cleaned alongside the people of Burkina Faso. This was more than symbolic, it sent a clear message. True leadership is not about giving orders, it's about taking action. His presence on the ground inspired countless others. People saw their president not as a distant authority, but as a partner in the effort to transform their country. His hands-on approach proved that leadership is about showing up and working with the people, not just asking them to do the work. Part 14. A global recognition. The world takes notice. As the days went by, the world began to take notice of the sanitation revolution in Burkina Faso. Reports came in from neighboring African countries, including Ghana, Mali, and Niger, praising the movement for its unity, resilience, and grassroots spirit. International development organizations were in awe of how such a low-cost, high-impact initiative could bring about significant change. Experts from across the globe saw this as a model for sustainable development and community-driven change. Even European and UN officials recognized the power of this approach. They highlighted Burkina Faso's effort as a potential blueprint for other nations grappling with issues like waste management, poor sanitation, and public health challenges. This wasn't just a national success, it became an inspiration for others. Burkina Faso had shown the world that change doesn't need to come from the outside. It can come from within through the collective strength of ordinary people. Part 15. Lessons from Burkina Faso, a call to action. The story of Burkina Faso's sanitation revolution teaches us some profound lessons. It demonstrates that real change starts from within. Leadership is not about waiting for others to act, but about stepping up, rolling up your sleeves, and leading by example. It's about inspiring those around you to believe in their own power to make a difference. What Burkina Faso showed the world is that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. The nation did not rely on external aid or large-scale government initiatives. They relied on each other, on their willpower, resilience, and shared vision for a better future. This revolution wasn't just about cleaning streets. It was about reclaiming dignity, rebuilding trust, and restoring pride in the nation. It was a reminder that change doesn't need to be grand. It can begin with something as simple as picking up a broom. Part 16. The true heroes, ordinary people, extraordinary impact. At the heart of this story are the real heroes. The farmers, the teachers, the children, the market traders, the soldiers, and the mothers, ordinary people who took extraordinary action. They showed the world that change doesn't come from waiting. It comes from action. From each person doing their part, no matter how small it may seem. These heroes didn't wear capes. They didn't wield superpowers. They carried brooms, rakes, wheelbarrows, and a belief that their actions mattered. Their dedication, unity, and courage were the driving force behind the transformation of an entire nation. Burkina Faso's story is not just about cleaning up streets. It's about the power of collective action, the belief that each individual has the ability to create change, and that together, anything is possible. If the people of Burkina Faso can unite to transform their nation with their own hands, then each of us, in our own communities, can make a difference, no matter how small the action may seem. This is the power of the people. This is the spirit of unity. Part 17. The legacy lives on, a new beginning. As the story of Burkina Faso's sanitation revolution continues to inspire the world, the legacy of this movement remains alive in the hearts and actions of its people. What started as a one-week cleanup has evolved into a national movement, one that shows no sign of slowing down. The National Cleanup Day has become a living, breathing part of the country's culture. Beyond just cleaning streets, it has become a symbol of self-reliance, unity, and the power of community. And the message is clear. Change starts with us, and we are the ones responsible for the future. The true beauty of Burkina Faso's transformation lies not in the trash that was removed, but in the hope that was restored. It is a reminder that no matter how challenging life may be, it is always possible to build a better future. One step at a time, one action at a time, by ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Closing statement. A call for all of us. Burkina Faso's story is more than just a national event, it's a global lesson. Change does not require wealth, grand plans, or endless resources. It begins with the determination to act, with the belief that small actions can create monumental shifts. And most importantly, it starts with people coming together for a common cause. So, wherever you are, whatever you do, remember this. Your actions matter. You have the power to change your community, to make a difference, and to inspire others to do the same. The people of Burkina Faso have proven that we don't need superpowers to create change. We just need to believe in ourselves, in our communities, and in the collective strength of the people.